Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you have been here before, you're probably wondering why I'm filming in this space. It's not my usual space. It's because my husband's super busy right now and he usually sets on my camera for me. So I didn't want to miss a week. I really have a really awesome video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about 5 practical ways to discover your purpose. This is actually a question I've been getting a lot. People are like, I talk a lot about mental wellness. So if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. But my channel is all about mental wellness, motherhood, and mindfulness. I talk a lot about mental illness. I struggle with anxiety and depression, but that's a side note. One of the reasons why I want to talk about the 5 practical ways that I think you can discover your purpose is because a part of mental health, a huge part of mental wellness, mental health, whatever you want to call it, is living in your purpose. I really think that when we don't live in our purpose or we don't want to know what it is, we can really walk through life just aimless and just it's really hard to get out of bed in the morning if you A, hate what you do, or B, have no idea what to do. So I have been obsessed with finding my purpose since I was like 9 years old, and I really do feel like, in a way, I am living my purpose, even though in a really small way, in a really small corner of the internet. But I've been obsessed about this topic and listening to speakers on it and reading bunches of books and doing my best to live it myself. So I thought I would answer this question that I've been getting recently from some of you guys. So let's dive in. The first practical way that you can discover your purpose is to ask this question. And this first way is actually what started me on this journey of making content around mental illness. So, the first question you should ask yourself is, what breaks my heart? This is for the people who are really hardwired and motivated by social justice. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of being Mother Teresa. I wanted to be her when I grew up, and my path is way different from her, but she just really inspired me. And even if you're not super turned on by social justice, that's fine. But for those of you that are, this question can really help you. Ask yourself, what breaks my heart? And have a pen and paper ready and just write down all of the things. There's a lot of things. There's a long list of things that break my heart, but one of the things that stood out to me when I was doing this exercise was that there are people out there that are taking their own lives because they feel worthless and lonely and like no one cares and that they don't matter. So mental illness really is what stood at the top for me as a huge epidemic in our world and in our country. And I live in America. And yeah, so that is one question that really helped me drill down and find my purpose. So I encourage you to try that, ask what breaks my heart, and just start writing and see what pops up. The second practical way that you can find your purpose, and I am looking at my notes, you guys. I hope that's okay with you. I don't want to mess this up. So the second way is, if money wasn't an issue and you got paid whatever you wanted to do, whatever you'd want to do, what would that thing be? So if you didn't have to worry about, well, it's not going to pay the bills and I'm in serious credit card debt or I'm in serious student loan debt or whatever it is, if you didn't have to worry about money, which I know is hard because some of us spent our whole lives, including our childhood, worrying about money. I know I did. I'm working really hard to overcome that right now. But really, like, give yourself the space to just explore that idea and write down anything that comes up. A lot of us actually know deep down, I think all of us really actually know deep down what we want to do with our lives, but we are so bogged down by worries about money that it's hard for that inner voice to even breathe. So that's a really good question to ask yourself. Number 3 is, this is really practical, and I actually got it from a friend of mine. Her name's Lisa Canning, and it's apparently from a book she read called Unique Abilities, and I will link that book below in the description box if you want to buy it. Not sponsored. So the exercise is, ask 5 to 10 close family and friends who you respect their opinion and you know they know you well. Ask 5 to 10 family members, hey, in 1 to 2 sentences, can you tell me what my unique ability is? Like, what do you think my unique gift is? Just say that you're doing it as like an exercise to discover your purpose, or however you want to frame it. It doesn't need to be weird, just be like, hey, can you help me out with this? I think you know me really well. In 1 to 2 sentences, can you tell me what you think my unique gift is? I have not done this yet, but I plan on sending some messages out today because even though I'm living in my purpose for the most part, I still as I'm on this journey, experience a lot of doubts. A lot of doubts of like, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And I think just like going to the people you trust and asking them to give you that kind of feedback whenever I'm feeling down, because again, I struggle with depression and anxiety and I have down days at least once a week. I can go and pull those positive, encouraging messages out and reread them and be like, no, Mia, you matter. You have purpose, you have value, you bring something to the world. So even if you're not trying to find your purpose, but you need something to go to when you are struggling with a really down day, I encourage you to do this. I'm going to do it and I'll share with you how it goes. If you want, let me know if you want me to do that in the comments down below. But I really think that for those of us that struggle with depression and anxiety, it's good to have like a joy folder, like just to be able to dig through when you're feeling down. That was a tangent, but try that exercise. I hear it's a great one. The fourth thing that you can do to discover your purpose is you don't really know, but you need ideas. So I just read directly from the list. I'm sorry. So if you don't really know what you want to do, but you need ideas, like you're like, oh, I don't really know. I could really do maybe like, I just have no clue where to begin. Yes, Google it, whatever, but there's actually a podcast that I listened to for a while, a year ago, and it really helped just stimulate ideas of what's possible for me. I didn't end up doing any of the ideas I listened to on that podcast. It's called the Side Hustle School podcast. I'll link it in the description box. Hosted by Chris Guillebeau. He is amazing. All of his stuff is great. So look up Chris Guillebeau. But basically, it just, even though I didn't do any of the ideas that were talked about on that show just like encouraged me so much of all these regular people who were doing side hustles in addition to their full-time jobs. And they were side hustles that gave them a huge income. Oh, well, some of them a huge income, and they were able to do it in addition to their full-time work. And it just made me realize, wow, so much is possible today in the digital age, and we don't realize it, I think, because we're so conditioned by our parents or where we grew up that, oh, you have to do life this way, and life's always going to be hard, and that's at least what I was told growing up. Life's going to be hard, just suck it up, grind through it, and like, listening to this podcast, there are people who are living their best life, living a life of abundance and joy and living in their purpose and doing things on their terms. And so I highly recommend that if you have just no idea where to start and the first 3 items aren't helping you, the fourth thing I recommend is to do some research, really. Like, I had no idea people were even talking about mental health. I stumbled across it by accident on YouTube, and that's how I'm here. So there's something super powerful about seeing somebody else doing something similar. And if it ignites you and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that. Okay, well, that's what I found myself doing. I was like, man, she's talking about her depression and she's doing such a good job and she's making me feel less alone. And I really appreciate this person. And I was like, wait, why can't I do that? Why can't I? And my therapist at the time, I shared this with her and she said, yeah, why don't you? She's like, if you want to do this, you should, because there's never too much of a good thing. Like, okay, don't take my words like, be like, oh, well, alcohol is a good thing, but you can have too much of it. You know what I mean? Like, in the realm of helping people, you can never have too many people helping people. So if you need ideas, do some research. And some of the platforms I recommend is definitely the Side Hustle School podcast, especially if you're not like, well, I don't want to just quit my job and start a huge business. Don't worry about that. Like, you're not having to start a huge business. If that's not for you, the Side Hustle School podcast is just, okay, I keep talking about it. By the way, not sponsored at all. But it really opened doors for me. So the link will be in the description. And Chris Guillebeau also has a book called Side Hustle, which is basically a really, not that thick, structured guide for, the tagline is, from idea to income in 27 days. So if you're one of those people that like, you have good ideas, but you just have no idea how to get executed from idea to like real, tangible, actually happening in the world, this book is a really good one, and it can help you step by step go through the process of executing your idea. And I will leave a link to that book in the description. I know I beat that point like a dead horse, but I really think that if you know what's possible, then the possibilities are endless for you, because you have to realize that what you think is and isn't possible is affected by your current worldview. And if your current worldview is one that has been shrunken to be super small because of the people you grew up with or you surround yourself with who tell you like that life sucks and life is hard, then it's going to be really hard for you to broaden your mind and see that you can really do or make any career that you really want. So I highly encourage you to just broaden your perspective with this podcast, with this book, and with any other research you can find on YouTube, on Google, whatever. It's a really good way to broaden your horizons. The fifth and last point, and by the way, if you hear my kids, they're with their dad and they're fine. But the fifth and last point is ask yourself, if people's opinions did not matter, what would you do? So a lot of people say, I really want to do this, but my mom and my dad, they spent so much money putting me to good college and they immigrated here, or they worked so hard so that I could have a better life. They're going to be so mad if I just want to drop my career as an accountant to be a filmmaker. I understand that, especially if you really love and respect your parents and they did a lot for you. But I think ultimately what matters is like you're not going to really contribute to the world and give the world your best if you are living from a place of, man, I really hate this, but I feel guilty and I have to do it. That is not a way to live your one life. And some parents would rather have their kids be happy. And some parents want their kid to be doctors, and I get that. But when you're on your deathbed, like let's be real right now, when you are on your deathbed, the only person who is responsible for how you lived your life is you. And living from a place of, I did what I was told, amen, so I'm going to die happy now, you're not going to be happy. You need to do what is right for you. You really, really need to. So I want you to ask yourself that. If people's opinions didn't matter, what would I do? And just see what comes up. So again, I want to reiterate that finding your purpose is not rocket science. A lot of us, especially in today's day and age, especially millennials, we seriously overcomplicate this. And I want to let you know that you already have whatever unique ability you have to offer the world and that lights you up when you do it, you already have it inside of you. Maybe it needs to be cultivated. Maybe it needs to be encouraged. Maybe you just need a few more skills to help cultivate that gift that you already have. But I really do believe that you can start right now today doing whatever it is that really lights you up. That you don't need to, I don't know, spend a year meditating to figure out what it is. So I just wanted to remind you of that. And I also wanted to let you know that if you actually take the time to listen to that inner voice, because again, it's already inside of you, your subconscious knows, you know. And one of the things I encourage you to do is ask yourself, what is my purpose? Just ask yourself, what is my purpose? Set a timer for 5 minutes if you're into meditating and sit in the quiet for 5 minutes. You can find 5 minutes. I'm a mom of 2 small kids, and even I have 5 minutes to sit and just say, what is my purpose? And to close your eyes and to focus on your breathing and not on what you need to do next in life and not on the bathroom that needs to be clean or the dinner that needs to get ready, and just see what pops up. Because when I quieted my voice, my outer voice of Mia, you have all these things to do, the thing that kept popping up was mental health, mental health, mental health. And I was like, no, I don't want that. That's not pretty. That's not fun. That's not glamorous. I don't want people to know that I have depression and anxiety. No, I kept shoving it out. And one morning I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I journaled it was like 8 or 9 pages, just stream of conscious, just journaling. And at the end of it, it was just like, I have depression and anxiety and it's time to stop letting it have a hold on me. Like literally that was like the last sentence. And I had no intention of journaling at 3 a.m. But this happened back in 2017, which is when I started this YouTube channel. And the point of this story is that what you need to do, the purpose that you're meant to fulfill on this earth, you already know what it is. But the voices that are crowding out your inner voice and just overwhelming you, which is from social media and your parents and your friends and whatever, there's so many people telling us what we should do. And so you can't hear what you want to do. So I guess that's a bonus, like number 6 tip. Number 6 practical way that you can find your purpose is ask yourself, what is it? And just spend 5 minutes. Set a timer so that you don't trick yourself out, and just be in the quiet and try to hear what your subconscious, your soul, your heart, whatever you want to call it, wants to tell you. And you can go from there. And if you're a journaler kind of person, you need a pen and paper, then do that. What is my purpose? Sit in the quiet and just write down whatever comes to mind and don't filter it and don't erase it, nothing. Just let it come out for once. Just let you know what you need to do. So there's a lot of different kinds of tips there. There's, I guess, 6 total, 6 practical ways. And I hope that this video helped you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps my channel and it also helps other people find videos just like this. And leave me a comment below if there's anything else that helps you find your purpose, if you're living in your purpose, or if you're struggling, what do you think the biggest roadblock is? Let me know in the comments. But let me see if there's anything else I needed to tell you guys. No, I think that's it. Thank you guys for joining me for this video. I hope it was helpful. It was fun for me to make and prepare for. I love talking about purpose. I love talking about this stuff. So just let me know in the comments if you like this video and if you have any questions. I love you guys and I will see you next Monday. Bye.